Hello and welcome to episode 28 of our Timberborn 1.0 Waterbeavers playthrough, cycle 27, day 14, where last time we got the ENS up and running, and the start of, gotta close this so I can actually see, the start of a new chapter in this other side of the map here. So, I know it's been a little bit of time, been about a week since the last video was posted, been super busy in real life, but very glad to be back with the Waterbeavers here. I want to talk about a couple things that you guys suggested in the comments and brought up as concerns. First up, oh, the floating zipline pylons are not prioritized by haulers, and there's a couple of you that are kind of concerned about this. And, you know, so far it hasn't been an issue, but I will be very interested to see what happens if this does run out of methane and is not able to either function as a zipline or function as an observation deck anymore. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but for right now it seems to be fine. Regarding the ENS location, I made some sort of comment about, oh, we have all these ruins over here, and somebody said, well, you know, why don't you put a scrapper's junkyard? I think that's what the building's called. This thing. Scavenger's junkyard. I'm sorry. Why don't you put one of those over there? And they're like, well, okay, well, you know, we could. We do have extra beavers presently, so instead of, you know, increasing the population too much, I think the time-tested method of just plop a bunch of scavenger flags down is going to be fine. This isn't, you know, an oppressive quantity of scrap metal like what this originally had been. I think we're probably okay, but you know what? Duly noted. Another thing regarding the golden sequoias is that I made comments about why is this not getting cut down, etc., so on and so forth. And one of the proposed things to fix that was to unplant everything and only replant the individual squares for the golden sequoias. But seeing how it eventually harvested the logs and it seems like things are fine, I kind of don't want to mess with it. No, but it's also worth noting that we do have, if I can see it wherever it was, there it is, it's buried. The irrigating elevated public bath, which is not what this used to be called, does speed up the growth 15%. So instead of taking 50 days, it takes 42.5. And someone had posited it in the comments that maybe the issue I was having is that this guy, the golden sequoia feller, was ignoring the boosted growth rate and only starting on day 50. Which that's a very, very compelling argument to be made. I do not know how to qualify it, but I guess that's something to keep an eye out for. Or if you're someone who has a little bit more of an intimate knowledge of how this works than I do, then you can confirm or deny. But I thought that was an interesting theory. Wanted to let you guys know about that. Just making our way through a bunch of stuff here. It's going to be jumping around a little bit. We still have these sunflowers that are not being harvested, and we're still out of sunflowers. So I think there's probably a good point to be made in that this farmhouse doesn't need to be here. It should be somewhere else where the sunflowers are not being picked up. Like, for example, right here, which we have an empty space, almost, for these power shafts. All we would have to do is just move this staircase one more block over, or, you know, make it a ladder or something. But you know what? I like the idea of moving things around and figuring out better solutions to problems. Also, this doesn't really go anywhere. So, if I were to do that, and I were to put a farmhouse right here, did I put it on the wrong side? Well, that makes this a little bit more complicated. Okay, well, you know what? I had what I thought it was a good idea, and it is apparently not a good idea. Let's check our range. If I were to put it, say, here's where it's actually showing, it would be able to get to about half of them. Move it back one more here. It's not going to show you the outlines, but imagine that it takes up another square worth of this. So this would be able to hit almost half. I think it may be wise instead, considering we're not actually using this for anything right now anyway, we're going to be wise to just take a little bit of time to reconfigure how this sits. Because remember, you don't have to have a path leaving the farmhouse through the field. You just have to be able to get to the farmhouse somehow. So if we were to put this, say, here, instead of whatever, It's not going to give me the outlines at all until I have a good enough spot here. But, you know, I'm not opposed to, if this makes it so that this can actually do more stuff, I'm not opposed to putting a farmhouse way over here in the corner with the help of some blasting or what have you. Or alternatively, because we have these stairs right here in the middle, we could put something up on stilts, but remember, I'm trying to deepen this so that we can pump more water, store more water, etc. So I don't think that's the answer. So, very, very, very long story short, what I would like to try, for the time being, just to make this a little bit simpler, is to put a farmhouse maybe right about here and have a path connecting into this. Now, straight across from here, there is an opportunity to exploit one of the wonderful things about this mod, which is bridges apparently don't have to care about physics. So, if I take this, is this actually going to let me put this here? I really hope it does. Okay, I actually can't do anything with that without putting something on the edge here. If I do this, and I put a 4x1 there, not quite. Not quite enough. Let's try a 3, and then on the other side we can get a 2. That's the only way I can think of to get over here, but that's going to allow us to have access from here over here. And what we would have to do here... Did I just do the same thing to myself that I've already done? Okay. Well, alright. You know what? I'm going to choose not to do any more stupid things for at least the next 5 seconds. Let's do this. We'll just pop these in here. This mod does not care about that being blocked off because it doesn't count it as blocked. And that, in theory, will give them access to this entire half here. Does it give them access to this half? No. But if I have one here, and I take this one away, then this guy can still reach all of that, and if this guy can get to these first, then this guy's not going to be tempted to come all the way over here, and instead, you get the idea. You see what's happening. And, as an added bonus, removing this farmhouse, which we're about to do, also removes the blockage from these stairs. And that allows us to get all the way up here. I know that was something you guys have been concerned about. So, we have fixed, quote-unquote, a few, I guess we'll say, nagging weird issues just by doing that. Whether it's actually fixed, I guess, remains to be seen. Okay, since we're already here, I had previously said, no, I don't want to do upgrades on this dam right here because it's going to cause flooding. Well, that's not entirely true, and I have talked a little bit about this, but if we put upgrades here, that means all the water coming in here would not go out here, but would instead be pushed through the pumps into this area, and could leave here, or could leave here, which then sends it through the wheels and could possibly generate a little bit of extra power. We haven't really talked much about dam upgrades, but I do think it would be, if we're going to put dam upgrades, at least advisable to have blockages on these. And I do have the... Oh, I don't have that upgrade. Well, we have the science, so that's fine. I do want to stop it from going off the edge of the map here, so we'll slowly get things going to see if we can increase the speed here without flooding weird stuff. They should be able to reach that. I don't see anything that says they can't. I think we can also do an upgrade on the utility dam. Maybe not. Says other buildings can be built on its top. That doesn't really mean anything. Oh, okay. This regular primitive dam upgrade does, thank you, autosave, seem like it will work there. We just don't have it researched yet. I just want to take this one at a time and see what happens. Before that is done, let's check what our flow rate is. 231, 233, 235, 236. It's interesting these are all sequential, but they have increasing power at the end. Okay. Well, at any rate, this just needs tar, which we do have. And once they put that in, we should get a decent idea of what kind of speed increase that we're going to be looking at. It's just, you know, it's interesting to see how this stuff evolves. Because I originally wasn't even planning on doing anything with this, and then suddenly it turned into one of the most important parts of the whole map. Alright, triple speed time. I don't want to sit here and wait for the rest of this to go in. Okay. Primitive dam upgrade is complete. I'm going to give this a little bit of time to run and start catching up. And there's probably just going to be more coming out this side. But let's come back over here. Remember, we were at like 230 to 236 on these. This is actually decreased, but now it's going back up. If we go on triple speed, how is this going to cycle? It usually does go up and down a little bit, but I'd be very interested to know if it finds an equilibrium any higher. It seems like it is. Is it going to stay around 240 to 250? Or is it just going to be going back and forth? I guess we'll have to come back and check on this a little bit later. But that's an idea. This is just so funny to look at. It's never going to get old. We're making tremendous amounts of science at the ENS, and by tremendous amounts of science, I mean 100 over the course of 8 1/3 days, while also making masters in metallurgy. We have 2 bachelors in agronomy, and those are very important to get some late, or I guess you could say mid-game, mid-late game stuff. I can't remember exactly, but I know the wine cellar, yeah, wine cellar needs one. And then, I think it's the GMO growing lab. Yeah. And this is a good building because you can make berries really fast if you have the firefly liquid. Which, that's a little bit of a terrifying thing we have to get to at some point. This area was also suggested, and I do agree with this, that it would make a very good industrial area in the future once we can harness some power. There's going to be a lot of possibilities to make prodigious quantities of power over here. And at some point I need to make storage for scaffoldings. That was something I had asked you guys about last time. If you remembered what I was trying to do, and then a bunch of you came to my aid and said you were trying to do scaffolding storage. So I only have storage for 108. We're going to need more. This is for ropes, lamp oil, etc. Overhang walkways can be our friend here. And then the skewer platform can also be our friend. And what that's going to allow us to do is put in a large warehouse and have that set for scaffoldings. And since we are on the subject, where is my seamstress? That is going to be something we need to take a look at. You know what? We're not cavemen. We have technology. We can click on this and scroll down to seamstress. And that is right here. Okay, I thought it was somewhere in this area. I just couldn't remember. There is indeed a recipe for balloons. That was something that you guys had mentioned. Storage for satchels is full because I have not made any more storage for satchels. I didn't think it was going to be that big of an issue. Does everybody have one? Yeah, pretty much. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this to make balloons. Because it's only 2 days and 12 hours instead of, what was it, 6.5 days for the Handicrafter's Lodge? Now, we do have a slight problem, and that is being out of paper. But I think we can, you know, over time, get that fixed. Yeah, I wonder what's happening with the paper, making all these explosives everywhere. But I digress. That is a harvester's office. This is also a Handicrafter's Lodge, making pencil sets that can be made in the assembly line, I think is what it is. Yeah, well, at any rate, we need storage for a whole bunch of stuff, and boy, oh boy, do we not have any good places to put most of it. Well, that's fine. We'll get it figured out. Not going to be the end of the world. I do like the idea of having kind of unnecessary stuff stored in areas like this where it's not super far away via zipline, but it's still not kind of in the way. And overhanging on the cliff is, in my opinion at least, a really, really good way to go about it. So, skewer platforms to the rescue. Yes, I'm going to make a big old storage for satchels because, well, it's one of those things I'd rather make a whole bunch of at one time and then switch to go do something else. So we'll come back to that in due time. There's so many other little things that we always want to get to and we never get to. We'll get there. We'll get there. Is this farmhouse built yet? It is. Okay. We've got 2 members of Timberborn royalty right here. It looks like this is going to go a lot better than it has in the past. We can also put a 3rd one here. I tend to be really, really adamant about putting farmhouses next to each other so we can do the upgrades, but at the end of the day, it just needs to work. Upgrades are not the end-all, be-all. I just really like it when you can, you know, complete something. It's nice. Now this is, yep, still gathering paper. We really should increase paper production. That's one of those things that is, yes, sawdust. But wait, this isn't prioritized, but alright, that solves that problem. I was about to say we have plenty of sawdust, relatively. We have plenty of haulers, relatively. Seems like we're doing okay. This is the irrigation thing that's paused. Let's see, we didn't change the planting orders over here, but it also hasn't been a problem. We also can't use the logs yet, unless we want to make pillars, which, by the way, I know we're doing a whole lot of jumping around. Apparently, these have been upgraded to have ladders, which is not a thing in Update 6, the last Waterbeavers I played. But boy, oh boy, is this a game-changing revelation. You remember, if you watched my previous series on Waterbeavers, how incredibly annoying it was to try and do stuff without having ladders in these. It just turned into one of those things where you have to build all these stacks of stuff everywhere. Like, this is not good. But it looks like all of these have them. Of course, different heights. So putting in mega platforms and the clockwork farms and all that is going to be so much easier with this. So much easier, especially since you can, as this says, attach side platforms. I love to see it. So we really need to get on the ball with getting access to stuff that can use the giant logs. And of course, the biggest one is the advanced sawmill, which is 2000 science, which we don't have because we are not currently making a ton of science because we are instead making degrees. And the metallurgy is important because that goes into the high temperature foundry, which is used to make scrap metal really quickly, glass, the shiny advanced saw blade things, which we can also just trade for in balloons, or silicon metal ingots, assuming that's what they're still called in this game, yes, which go into making CPUs, which go into making bots and all sorts of other fun stuff. So now we're in the really fun part of Waterbeavers now, where you start to get to the crazy advanced technologies that is like, how in the world did beavers come up with this? Or did they just, you know, examine human remains and take care of other things that way? Which, I guess there's a little bit of Waterbeavers lore that, you know, kind of makes it clear that that's exactly what happened. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Just don't think about it too much. I do want to get these wheels in place here. We already established this would be a pretty good amount of energy generated. I just have to remember exactly what it was I was doing with this. Because I need to have space. I don't want this to be too, you know, deep here. It's going to not have enough water retained through it. You know, I don't know. I just... you know, I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Shut up and keep going. Talking to myself, not to you. This large water wheel here would, you know, make it impossible for us to stick to unless I turned it around like I had originally been thinking of doing. I don't know that I want to keep these large warehouses here, or maybe I could elevate them one so I could put the wheel underneath. These are all empty, by the way. So I don't know that it does us any harm to try and get rid of these for the purpose of trying to do other nonsense. So if you promise to remember what these are, I guess I can take these out and start the process. Ah, no, I can't. I don't have enough science. Never mind. We're doing that in like 3 episodes. How are we doing over here? Decently okay. All right. Oh, there's another thing we wanted to talk about over here, and that is turning this area into Nennefer farming. Which, you know, on paper is a really good idea because this is a 2-block deep spot. There's a lot of room. And we could pretty easily put in a large farmhouse. However, remember we're pumping from here. And I don't know that the water level is going to be reliably between 1 and 2 blocks high for long enough not to kill Nennefars. So, I don't know that I really want to do this here. I'd probably rather have a better spot or have it separated by dams or something. But we'll figure something out. I'm just not sure at this exact moment if that is the best option, although I do really like that idea. Okay, let's check on these guys. Somehow the power output is worse. Oh, it's because we're about to have a drought. Never mind. It is slowly slowing down, and that's why. So this is going to be interesting because now we only have 2,000 water stored up, and we've been pretty constantly on the verge of running out in these longer for normal mode, like 9-day droughts. We need more storage. And I think I've been kind of afraid of the Gigargantuan tank because it also houses 30 beavers. So we have to just keep putting medium tanks everywhere, which isn't exactly a great idea. But if it's the only thing we can do, then I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, triple speed time. There's so many other things, and I always, I tell people in comments, oh yeah, we'll take a look at that, we'll do that, and then I forget half of them, and then I think people are like, oh man, that guy's a flake. It's like, no, I'm just forgetful. So, what we can do, since I already promised a bunch of people I would do this, is we can put in these little, actually no, we only get the bonus on the aesthetic ones. Well, what I was going to say is we can put well-being items close to the zipline stations. But I forgot that not all of those things exist in this mod. And the only thing that really does anything besides these weird statues is the covered walkway intersections and stuff. Which, to be abundantly clear, are still very good things that we should be using. They just don't always, do that much. So, I'll humor you. I'll put one here. These are, oh yeah, it's 1 by 1 and it uses the giant logs. Upside down beaver statue, that sounds like a great thing to put there, or the pregnant statue. Yeah, you guys take your pick. But we could do, which is this, can you see his teeth on this one? Yeah. 200 science when I was just complaining about how little science I have. Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that. But this is going to give a nice benefit not only to the beavers who live here, but also tangentially take these zip lines, which are quite busy. This one here would be probably another good spot for that to go. No, I remembered something real juicy we're going to want to talk about in just a bit. Where else? This is a great location for something like this. You only have to pay the research fee once. What do you mean I can't put this here? Seriously? Or is that because I have the too easy billboard here? I will get rid of the billboard in exchange for putting the statue. Because that's the wrong one. Because that seems like a very, very convenient thing. Especially with all these beavers doing the pumping stuff here. Yeah, okay, you can't really see his face, but look at the range on this. It's got like 8 or 9 of these things, and then all of this stuff. I think that's what the range looks like. Anyway, so that's going to be a big help. We should see the well-being slowly start to go up, even if I did take away that billboard right there. Yeah, upside-down statue. Oh, you can't unpause in this menu, that's right. So we'll see how that shakes up. I know we have to build a bunch of these things, and that, of course, will just take a bunch of time, but is what it is. Oh, boy, this next fun thing. Where was the ladder by the lotus thing? Someone left a comment saying that I had forgotten to put a path on top of a ladder near the farm that's doing lotuses, and that would improve what I was trying to do in terms of range, but I don't see one of these that doesn't have a path. That one's already got one. This is already here. It can be kind of hard to see with the way these scaffoldings are designed, but I think... I mean, it looks to me like all of these have them. So unless I'm just misremembering and it got the wrong spot based on reading the comment, then I think this has already been taken care of. Yeah, I got nothing. But what I wanted to talk about here mainly is, we have a wonderful thing called the no longer super fertilizing irrigation tower bath, and now it's the irrigating elevated public bath that does a plant growth bonus of 15%. But there was a comment left on the last video that gave me a horrible idea of putting it down here and increasing the growth speed of the lotuses. And, our dear friend Lapana has said, I hadn't tried that, but I guess it's possible, so you know what that means. It means we are about to engage in tomfoolery the likes of which have never before been seen on this channel. So yeah. That... Oh, yes. Oh, yes, friends. I am so excited. Oh, there's no reason why I should be allowed to do this, but I feel like that's kind of the anthem of this whole playthrough at this point. Well, now there's a ladder that I can put a piece of stuff on. Oh, yes, friends. Oh, yes. Are we about to unlock a cheat code for getting more nenifars? Because, you know, we are running out of nenifars. I'm just really excited. I really want this to work so bad. But we'll come back to that after they finish building. How many of these blueprints do I have? Oh, I only have 2. Okay, we need to duplicate some of those because I'm going to build more of these. I don't need that one anymore. Let's do here. I need to unpause those. Okie dokie then. Get to work. You have 25 beavers who aren't working. I know. It's going to be okay. How are we doing on this? 39%. Alrighty, and they're gathering stuff for the next batch of masters in metallurgy, which I don't think we're going to need right now. Before you ask, you cannot duplicate degrees, because this is not an online for-profit school. This is beavers going to a physical place and apparently getting some sort of decently good education. So, yeah, you just can't do it. So we do have to research each one individually. We'll get there. We'll get more, but having the one for the high-temperature foundry is going to be good. Speaking of things that require degrees or other researches, part of the stuff that we have to do in the foundry, including making glass, requires quartz, and that, of course, requires having... Oh, this is the one that's doing quartz. That requires having a storage of quartz, and these other materials that we are acquiring out of the ground here, which we don't have storage for everything. We do for quartz, and we do for tools, which go into here, but I think it would be smart, and you guys agree, that we would have storage for all the things that can come out of the mine near the mine. And so far that would be coal, iron, salt, and saltpeter. In addition to this water, we're not going to use this for water. That's nuts. At least for how we have this currently going. So, once again, we have amazing technology called researching neat stuff that we can use. And I know we're going through the science that I already said I didn't have enough of, but it makes sense to do this. Feel free to disagree, that's always allowed. But I'm going to do it. So, I guess this one can be for salt, although we're not necessarily going to be using this for salt all the time. I just want to have storage for everything. And we do need salt in more locations. And depending on how I want to play the game over here, I could also do some overhangs. And I know this is going to use a lot of materials that we maybe shouldn't use a ton of. But it's fine. We don't need to worry about it. And that's going to take care of saltpeter. And then over here, maybe a little bit more convenient to access, we can put in other stuff. I just really like this kind of stuff in this mod because it's one of those things where you ask yourself the question of, man, should we do this? And the game says, absolutely, with a resounding, violent amount of enthusiasm, yes, you can. So, that's what we're going to do. Why is this one bigger? I'm so glad you asked. I don't know. I just picked that because it fills the hole nicely. But what we can do is we can take a very common thing like, say, coal, and make that the slightly larger storage. So, that works for right now. You know, actually, before they build this, I do want to check, because I think I've researched this. Okay, that does not fit. That was what I was going to maybe think about trying. But now we have storage for all this stuff, and even though we only have 2 of these, it's going to make a big difference. Alright, we can leave them to that. Did they build this? Almost. They were waiting on... Oh, I'm out of logs. Well... Sounds to me like this area needs a super fertilizing irrigation tower bath. That's not what it's called. Yeah, it's fine. So maybe at some point we'll do that. I figured there were going to be consequences for this being taken over by the golden sequoias, but I kind of forgot that it was something that was going to happen so soon. Where is, not the golden sequoia feller, where is the regular lumberjack? Because I can't see anything. Let's, I guess, just do a manual search here for lumberjacks. I've got, I only have 3? Well, that's not there, and that's not there. So that tells me that I have somehow neglected to put a single harvestable thing here. Now, we do have a tree nursery. We do have over here a lumberjack's barn, but it can't reach these. So, lumberjack flag right here. There you go. Some of these are marked for cutting. Now, all of them are marked for cutting. Those are on a different level. That's fine. Once these are taken down, we are going to get more golden sequoias in here, but of course we have to be able to process the logs, which is what I was going to do with the science before I started doing other fun stuff. You know how it goes. Alright, this is available and operating. I just have to have it prioritized so it gets storage. And now, as soon as this says it has covered area, we should see... Let's go! 6 days, 19 hours instead of 8. That is tremendous. You guys are awesome. I would I would not have thought to do this. They're like, well, they're already irrigated. What's that going to do? Well, guess what? Now they're super irrigated. I love it when a plan comes together, even when it's insane. Oh, yes, friends. Do we have our upside-down statues completed? It looks like we do. Well-being is not higher, but it looks like when all the beavers get this, it's going to be a +2. So, hey, that's pretty good. We just need to have more of them placed everywhere. What does it cost to build this? The giant log. Well, that's fine, because we can't do anything with those right now anyway, and we have some sitting on the ground, and we know these guys are just itching to get more things cut down. Maybe the most reckless use of giant logs early on in their availability of anyone who's ever played this, but I don't really care because this is cool. Where is another good place? Ideally a zipline hub or hub-adjacent area. Right here seems like a pretty good choice, although I may go back behind this because all these beavers are going to come in to get fried rice. Where can I fit the breakdancing standing beaver thing? That works, and that will cover this building and cover the fried rice and cover a bunch of storage here. The next obvious... Look at these guys, the hive of activity. Seems to be coming into here, which we have ladders going up. We've got... It's not even Tuesday. No one's going to get that. That's fine. Got that going there. And then, you know, that's going to allow them to keep cutting these down. We're nowhere close to having the advanced sawmill. Oh, this is dry because somebody forgot to... Somebody forgot to turn these off. Where's my exit pump automation? Well, that's regrettable. I thought I had those at sawdust. Okay, so it's on when Bad Gary is... Oh. Okay, I should have had that on droughts too. Well, this is a little bit of an unfortunate lesson when these crops die, although they have 8 days for the sunflowers. 3.9 days for the cabbages, but honestly, we have 1,000 cabbages, so I guess it's not that bad. Rice is going to die in 4.6 days. It is definitely not going to have any more water in here in 4.6 days. So you know what? Now is going to be a good time for us to just say, you know what? The primitive dam doesn't need to be here. We'll remove it. We'll flood this again, because I've got a solution I would like to do for this. Remember that the only reason this was here in the first place was to try and get water in here, and the only reason this is here is because we had bad water coming through here, but now that that's almost impossible, we might be better off just not having a permanent dam here. I do want to see how much this fills up and if this starts going off, because I know there's a lot of extra water stored in here that I don't necessarily want to disappear. But we can make this a floodgate, just so that we can emergency fill this manually if we feel like it. We need more logs, which is, you know, good thing we have this tree farm, because okay, now the water is leaving the map, and that's not great, but this will be fine, this will be fine. This floodgate here doesn't really need to exist, but, you know, I think it's alright. Now would be a good time to figure out if we want to deepen this. My gut says that the answer is yes. So I will do that. I will take this out because I'm pretty sure I can get more rice grown in here. And I know we have basically full rice storage already, but there's no reason not to try and improve something, right? Seems like that would be a smart choice. What might make the most sense, actually, is just to dynamite this entire thing down, which would bring it down to the bottom of the map, because, once again, there's basically no danger, quote-unquote, of having bad water come through here, and we also don't really need this pit and ladder lodge or any of this waterproofing anymore. The only thing that would do, if we left it in place, would be to prevent the... I forgot that I was doing that for a reason. Those need to be manually turned back on later. But anyway, we would want to keep these here to protect the lotuses and nenuphars, etc. from these pumps. But we could also just say, hey, don't pump when it's a drought or a bad tide, which is what we probably should be doing anyway. And then go from there. These are... Oh, I thought there was a path that was going here. Alright, let's fix that. Make that accessible, and then I do think it's going to be wise to deepen this. One, it makes these a little bit more drought hardy. Two, it makes it a little bit easier to traverse, and I don't have to have quite so many stairs. And it just increases the amount of water we can have in here, which is great. That is not a super important thing right now. Let's check on 60%, okay? Well-being's at 33%, and we now have more than half the beavers with the upside-down statue. That seems like it's going well. How many of these irrigation bath things do we have now? We have 5. I think that's because I don't have storage. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess, you know, there's not really any real reason to just keep making them, but I'm probably going to forget, and I would rather just make too many now than be out of them later and have to re-research it. Come on, irrigation, where are you? No? ENS fancy. ENS fancy. Floodgate dam. Giant log dam, which we don't have yet. Large farmhouse. Aquifer pump. There it is. Okay. Now, what was another one we don't have a lot of? Anything else that says 5? Okay, don't care about that. Definitely don't need 100 ENS blueprints. And maybe we just leave this alone and don't need... Okay, they already built it. Oh, degrees. Bachelor's in agronomy could have some storage. Would probably not be... Oh, I already had one for bachelor's in agronomy. Okay, well, where's the metallurgy? There you go. Oh, this is such a nightmare of stuff being absolutely everywhere. It's fine. We will, we'll survive. Let's check in on the seamstress here, making balloons. Almost done with the first balloon. That's a good thing. Paper seems to be okay. Not fantastic, but okay. I love that these only... Wait, that says 50 days. Why does this say 50 days? No. This is supposed to... Why is this not prioritized? Why? These are supposed to say 42 and a half. Has something occurred that would cause this not to be functioning, or is it just because it's already fully grown? Well, I guess we'll see. Okay, these are... Yeah, these are all built. They're doing well. Don't have enough pumpkins. That's what we really need to be growing, is more pumpkins. And I only have so many over here. Cabbages seem to have kind of caught up, honestly. I think we can justify taking... Get rid of this. I think we can justify taking some of these cabbages away. And, yeah, these aren't even being harvested. Let's give these guys a little bit of a helping hand. And just make a path so they can get out to this other side. I want these to be... That's the wrong one. I want these to be... That's also the wrong one. Pumpkins! Come on, pumpkins. Because pumpkin chips, you know, they're not a great food, but they're better than pumpkins. And it's just good to have more diversity in your food supply. So, you know, just come back and check on that at some point. Okay, this is ready to blast. So, do that. Let's check on the range as soon as that goes off. Okay, so that shows up as something we can do. I wonder... Well, you know, I said we were going to go ahead and do this anyway, so why not? Let's just get this whole thing laid out. I've got 102 dynamite. I don't think it could possibly be that bad. Let's give these guys something else to do. That's doing its job very nicely. Irrigation. Somebody was meaning minty bamboo shoots. Which one of these distilleries is using minty bamboo shoots to make, what's it called? This one? Endothermic essence. Yeah, I have 246 of that being stored in this thing here. We probably don't need to keep making a ton of this. Actually, you know what? Maybe I misremembered what that comment actually said. Did I make notes about that? So many notes, so many notes. Just give me a moment to read through this. Yeah, you know, I didn't actually specify. I just remembered it was some blue thing that comes out of minty bamboo shoots. So as far as I know, that's probably one of the only ones. Maybe it was pollution resistance factor. Anyway, there's something that is consuming a lot of resources that doesn't necessarily need to be. But I can't remember what it was. I apologize. It was an insightful comment that I should have remembered better. Oh, hey, remember when I was going to do something about this and then didn't do that? Oh, that's because I didn't have the science. Are we still making books? No, we're making science. It's just really slow. Not you. Okay, this is still making books. Why are we still making books? We don't need to be making that many books. Is that because the balloon was still using books? No, the balloon's not using books because it is trading for the steel saw blades. Where the heck are the books going? Ah, that's why. Okay, well, you know what? That's fine because it's going to be a good idea to have one of these on hand for when we need to make another ENS or something. I think we can just let this finish its 200-piece set. And then, if I remember, do something about it later. Let's get this on triple speed. No, I end up having so many ideas that I forget about because I get so excited about other random stuff, like cheesing the heck out of the lotuses with this thing. Oh, that's so cool. Chestnuts. Somebody said, hey, you should blast out all these 1 block deep things, or 1 block tall things near the chestnut farm to get more chestnuts, and these are 2 blocks. Unless you're talking about over here. Yeah, there's not really much more I could do with this, unless I wanted to get rid of this area. There's nowhere else I'm doing chestnuts, is there? I don't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. But you know what? This is still a good idea, just kind of harder to get into. Well, I guess we'll figure it out at some point. Maybe not right now. I was going to check on... Yeah, I need them to make the rest of these library books so I can turn this back into making sunflower oil, probably. Yeah, I'm afraid to get rid of that because I'm going to forget. Oh, well. Okay, for kaboom. Okay, so that is the extent of what we can plant, which is fine. I just wanted to be as prepared as possible. Yeah, so at this point, I think this is going to have to just be completely tied together. This is also about to empty out. Well, I've got 94 dynamite. We're not really using it for much else, and this is, technically of some sort of benefit. So, the floodgate dam does not need to be here anymore, unless we have a bad water emergency, in which case it's my problem and, I guess, good content. This turns all the way up, and we kind of made it so that this is a lot harder to have a bunch of bad water in here. There's still going to be a little bit. Not enough to really hurt anything, and this is just going to be a tiny bit better. So, there you go. We're just going to blast this whole thing to smithereens and increase our mobility over here. Probably need to be planting some more trees. Definitely if we have this few logs, although getting to 2,000 science and then having the advanced sawmill is going to give us a lot of logs. So maybe it's not actually a problem. I guess we will have to see. So this being 1 block lower permanently is Actually, I made a mistake. That's never happened. We do need to keep a dam on this side somewhere, which I guess can be here. But, now I'm wondering if I should just... You know, I'm probably at this point just redoing what I already had done with extra steps, which is going to surprise absolutely no one who's ever watched my videos. But it's fine. It's fine. We're going to be okay. Because if I take this out, then this thing can just be going a lot more and basically never be turned off, because any excess is going to come over the 0.66 or whatever of this and then go off the side of the map, while still letting this be as tall as it possibly can. The only issue is going to be this won't be all the way up to 2.0, and it'll just stay at 1.66, which maybe could be a problem. You know, maybe I shouldn't mess with this. Or I replace this with a... No, I don't think I can do that. Giant log dam. Oh, that has to go on a primitive dam upgrade. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of this because now my brain hurts thinking about how this is ever going to function the way people have been saying it's going to function. That's alright. Can't win them all. Okay, we got trees that are not being cut down. They still say 50 days. Despite this saying it is only 13.8% of its potential. That seems targeted. That's not marked for cutting. That needs to be. Yeah, because I need... Oh, this tree isn't marked. Okay. Neither... What? How did this happen before? Where I had not all of these trees marked and it caused issues, and I forgot what I did to solve that. Oh well. That's fine. I don't want to get that upgraded, and that would float over anyway. Oh no, that's already tall enough. I think. Maybe. No. Well, now I don't know. Now I have no idea. Pumpkins. Pumpkins. I can only put another couple in here, but once again, it is better than nothing. This farm can reach... Oh, there's actually some of these that they can't reach. Okay. We did chestnut stuff. We're not making enough chestnuts. I know we need more chestnuts. I just don't have enough space to plant anymore. Well, when I get more dirt and I have the ability to, you know, put 1,000 pieces of dirt into a terrain thing, then maybe we can make more. But for now, it's probably going to just be a thing where we have to do this. Now, we can't really do much, but that's not going to do anything. As I say, we have the technology, and we might as well try to do something. So this is going to, you know, increase what we're able to do. The problem is going to be getting the beavers out here to place these. Not going to be a simple task. But if we are careful with how many more of these types of materials we want to utterly waste, then maybe it is achievable. This would allow us to do all of those. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to worry about this at this exact moment. We're just going to need to think of some clever ways to get stuff accomplished that aren't going to... whatever. But I have placed these as reminders that we want to do that. Well-being score 36. Okay, that's promising. Alright, now this is going to be a little challenging because this is an active pathway. And there's not really a convenient way to get across here without, you know, beavers causing problems. This is a single... yeah, it's a single add-on to the network. We need to have another station over here. Well, all I gotta do is disconnect that path, and suddenly they can't do this anymore. Which means they can't get blown up. Which means, K for kaboom. right on time, the drought is over. So, what did we learn? Besides the fact that I don't really remember everything I was trying to do, we did learn that now is going to be a good opportunity for us to try and figure out a little bit better exactly what it is we're going to be doing to connect everything. And while this is a convenient thing to have a connection, I don't think it's going to be that transformative since we have the zip lines. We just need to have a better way to get beavers in. Right now, this zipline station here isn't really in a great spot, but it's just there because I had to have something. I hate to put another zipline station here, but it might actually be a decent idea. Well, anyway, that will restore our connectivity through here. But this island really needs its own. Maybe that's a problem for next time, because I just really don't have that much of an idea what I'm doing. Too many distractions. This is at 0%. That means we have a master's in metallurgy. We don't need to be making any more right now. Back to science. And I've got my incredibly compact library set. That means this needs to be turned back into sunflower seed stuff, and this needs to be turned back into science. Because we're not really using the books. But we do have that. So that is good. This is very empty. This is super empty. Yeah, you know, there's not really... Oh, why is this got, Oh, I remember what these were for. This was to try and keep things irrigated during a drought, and then I forgot to do it until the drought was already happening, and then I said, you know, that's not going to be a smart idea. So now it's like 2 droughts later, but I finally put that in. This beaver is going to die if I set these off, so I would like to avoid that. Maybe what we should do before all of this... put in some stairs here to clear cut these. Yeah, not this guy. But we can clear cut this so that we can stop the brambles from infiltrating this mess. I think they're going to have the ability once this is... Okay, not quite. Unless I have this slightly better. Well, they can jump this gap, but they can also, you know, still cut them down, so that should be alright. Okay, now if I click this again, it has not given me any more space. It's alright. I am kind of concerned about this, though, because there is not a lot of water flowing into this area. And, that is probably a bigger problem than any of these other things, is the amount of, water that I've got coming in here. This... Yeah, because this wants to fill up. This isn't going that way, but this is just... It just takes a long time. This would be a great application for the water cannons, which, if you are not aware, are a thing in this mod where you can... Essentially, you see that little line moving around? That's the flag that it deposits water at. So it just jumps the voxels, basically, but if we could get, like, a chain set up... And these consume a lot of power for what they do. But they are pretty cool. We could get some clean water from this side to jump across the map into various pools and then refill this a little bit faster. I don't know that that's a great idea, but it's probably about the only one I've got. Right now we have this little tiny bit water seep and then this regular source, and that's it. That is what is filling this up. We do have the option of weaponizing this one if we felt so inclined. I don't know that I've got an easy way to do that because of the way that the floodgates in this mod work. And I wouldn't want it to be depositing bad water at all. And there's also a swimming pool here, but maybe that's something to think about. If you've got any ideas related to how we could maybe capture the water from here for refilling this, let me know. There is a big trench here that is going to get filled up before any water comes over to that side. I'm trying to peel this back so you can see. Yeah, it's got to fill that up first, and that's, of course, going to take some time. This has to fill up, and then come over here, which, you know, is going to take time. So we're kind of at the mercy of whatever everything wants to be doing here. This is now dry again, because, again, this has to fill up. And I don't actually think any water's coming through here, which, why should it? Pass-through lodge could have been a valve house. In fact, a valve house would not be a bad idea. I don't think. Maybe I should have put a valve house here. That, you know what? That actually would have been a much smarter way to do it. Put a valve house in. So, I hate to just keep on rebuilding stuff again and again and again and again. Valve Lodge. I'm sorry, that's the correct name. So that is, the doorway's there, that's where the hole is. So this would actually be a great thing to stick right underneath this. Or maybe right here, but then it has to be open. Then well, you can put these on top of stilts and it's fine. Do I have materials? I guess I kind of do to accomplish this. Alright, is this... Yeah, this is pretty stupid. This is objectively pretty dumb. I don't need to be doing this. That's gonna just cause problems. I'm gonna not. Because this is a lower level and yeah. It's gonna be a mess. Not to mention that this is constantly pumping even though there's no water coming in. But okay, you know what? The better thing to do is just to shut up and do what I should have done already, which is just put a what do you call it in? That's not what it's called. I know. Words are hard. Floodgate Dam. That should have been in, and it can also just kind of go down here. Yeah, we'll just do this. Do I have enough blueprints for this? I don't want to research this again. Yes, okay. Well, can't win them all. We still don't have anything over here. Not enough pumpkins. Okay, so this is working. That's the wrong plant. There we go. And so is this. I love this with my entire heart. That is so great. Somebody made mention of the lotuses jumping out and spreading organically elsewhere. I gotta tell you, I don't see it happening. Doesn't mean it's not. It just means that I don't see it happening. So, I will do some choice unplanting moves to try and encourage these things to spread, if at all possible. And then ignore it, and then maybe in another couple of episodes say, oh hey, that worked, or oh hey, that didn't work. Depending on whether it worked or did not work. Alright, so this is slowly recovering. I guess that's good. Maybe should have done something a little bit better. Balloons are being made, which is good. This is at 5%. Alright, I guess I have to let this finish. I was going to turn it back to something else. But we do have sandals. We do have satchels. Don't have enough stuff to make the cold... Or do we? Do we have the time to listen to anyone whine? No, we do not. We have plant fibers. We have minty bamboo shoots. We could make cold pillows. Frosty pillows. I'm sorry. We don't have a lot of bamboo shoots, though, so we should be growing more of those. Necklaces also require seashells, which you get from trading with, I think, the island beavers? Is that what it is? Yes. Okay, well, it's good to know we can make frosty pillows, but I'm not going to turn that on because I think it's a little more important to have endothermic essence, which we're going to use for other things, and I already forgot what I was going to use them for. But I know it's important because it comes up a whole lot later game. The cruelty of water beavers. Pumpkin chips are in the recipe for science in the ENS, and I don't have pumpkin chips. Okay, well, this is not quite high enough to come over here. Maybe what I should do... yeah, you know, I said I was going to replace this with a floodgate dam also, and I could just set it higher. Yeah, that's probably going to be the best thing. Alright, let's think carefully about what we're going to do here. I know that's a kind of an alien concept, right? I do want the pass-through lodge still, which means I do... Oh, that's why, because I didn't want to have a... Wait a minute. No. We can do that. We can do this the right way. We can do this, or at least in a less stupid way. We have a utility dam. The utility dam can go here. And then it can get a dam up... That has to be the correct dam upgrade. We can get a dam upgrade. And then we can put the flood thing, whatever, next to it. And then that will make it... the only reason I'm putting this here is because the path was already in the way. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I stopped in the middle of a sentence, and I know that's going to irritate the crap out of you, but I don't remember what I was going to say, so guess what? It's going to be alright. I need this to be built. It's waiting on... Oh, everything depends on logs. Everything depends on logs. Do I want to put in another thing here, or do I just want to use the power of irrigation? Well, this is not a contiguous landmass, so I know this is going to cause issues if I want to do both. Here's a thought. Does the irrigation tower, irrigating elevated public bath, only boost the growth of the tree, or does it also boost the growth of the product of the tree? Like, say, for example, with these pines, making pine resin, and with the chestnut trees, making chestnuts. That's a thought, and I don't know the answer to it. You might. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. It would stand, in my opinion, to reason that the chestnuts and the pine resin would also come faster. Wait a second, we can check. I went right past it. Lotuses normally take 7 days to grow. Nenuphars. Okay, the lotus flowers on this one are not growing any faster. And they're not growing any faster on here, even though these are 7 days. And this one's outside the range. So I guess that answers that question. I'm glad I didn't try to build one of these. Maybe it's different for the trees. No, it shouldn't be. Okay, no. We'll just move on. We really should be getting more of these ruins out of here. This honestly would not be a bad spot to have if I had... No, I really don't have storage. But I need this cleared. And we have... Okay, we only have 2 extra beavers right now. But I don't think it would be a bad idea to just go ahead and get as much of this cleared as we can. Because... I always get this swapped around. As soon as we have the ability to expand this, we absolutely can. And then we don't have to have this path going around, and I just need to have more storage for scrap metal. Or I need to be... I always want to go back to the old location. How am I still got this on a drill bit recipe? Scrap metal. Oh, we don't have coal. Somebody stopped making coal because somebody needed to have quartz, and now that somebody needs to turn it back to making coal. Oh, I needed a separate mine for this. I was going to put another one of these over here, and I didn't want to put it in the wrong spot. That was going to cause me problems later. And now instead I'm causing me problems now. Okay. Let's also not forget we have mechanical drills. Once we have the science to justify doing that, that will take care of coal and iron ore, in theory. Which means the medium mine really only needs to have 3, so we can have 1 for quartz, 1 for salt, and 1 for saltpeter. But for right now, we just have to have coal. So I'm going to turn this one back to coal. This one is making salt. We will keep making salt because we need salt. Why did I come over here? I already forgot. Oh, we're going to check on the pumpkins. Okay, that works. That's going to be some amount of help. This is, of course, waiting on logs. Oh, trees. I will process you at some point. This is doing okay. We need more storage for water. We really do. Do I have... Ah, that doesn't take logs. It only takes planks. So, this space over here that isn't really being used at all is going to be a decent opportunity for... That's dead trees. They are holding back the evil that is the wild brambles, if you were curious as to what was happening here. I did say I was going to keep this accessible, so for right now, I know this is not the best place to do it, but I'm going to put up a few tanks. Let's do this. Let's just put a couple more over here. And then eventually we can make this suck a little bit less. Like, for example, taking this out. I don't have to... Not cavemen. We have technology. We can do that. That's going to get us more water storage, and of course things will get better as they do, but can't possibly be bad having more water storage next to the water pumping. These getting cut down has also helped. Oh, there's an explosive right here that I forgot about. I don't know that I want to mess with that because I don't remember what I was trying to do. But this is, you know, improving ever so slightly. Did they finish building this? They did. Which means those can be gone, and we can pick up all those logs and metal. Wow, they did that quick. They probably can't reach all of these. So, you know what time it is. It's our favorite time. There we go. Totally legit if the game's going to play with stupid rules, and I need to make sure my deck is stacked correctly. Okay, sunflower oil is improving, although we still could use some more sunflower seeds. We'll get there. When we get the clockwork farms up, it's game over for any sort of lacking production bits because it's almost free. You just have to have power to run it. But it will take time. Okay, that's not really been much of a thing. This is making enough power to run, which is, you know, fine. We just don't have the pumpkin chips. Hopefully that problem starts resolving itself sooner rather than later. I'm going to maybe make ill-advised choices and try to turn all of this into pumpkins. It's the best I got. It's the best I got. We just need pumpkins, man. We just need pumpkins. Farmhouse can't even really do much, but honestly, the large farmhouse. Oh, hey, there's me. And Taubert. Large farmhouse can't actually plant pumpkins all the way out here, which I guess is, you know, fine. Seeds. I guess this is alright. This is increasing production speed. Oh, wow. That's got some... I have to remember, this is not because of this. Jeez, excuse me. This is because of this. This only goes to about here. So the pumpkins are not affected. Unfortunately. What can these reach? Oh, okay, that's a little further than I thought. Alright, no need to worry about the pumpkins. They will take care of themselves. We'll come back later and check on that. Now, obviously, they weren't going to be able to do anything with this, but I was just trying to think, is there going to be any way to do this that isn't going to be crazy expensive or stupid? I fear the answer to that question is going to be a resounding no. On a 6-long... Yeah, 6 long is going to be necessary to get all of those, and it will also do those. I could just build this, and then, you know, put another kind of one of these here. I guess this is a good enough prize to do. Oh, my science. It's fine. We need it. We need it. That's the excuse that I will give when asked. So now I've just got to put in more expensive stuff like ladders. Also use rope, but it's going to be worth having access to this. And we can also, before this moves, do a lot more with this. Actually, I could reach most of this. It's just going to require a lot of bombs that I can't exactly make right now. Alright, so that's a double. And I could actually, yeah, if that's a double, then I can get my quadruple, which is actually the same cost as the triple. And then get a lot of the rest of this down to the same height as one above the ground after the fact. Which is going to allow them to do a pretty tremendous amount of stuff. We just have to remember our hierarchy. This is completely insane what I'm doing here, and I should not be doing it. But at the same time, you already know what you signed up for when you clicked on this video. Unless you're new to the channel, in which case, welcome. I'm insane. And also not that great at this game, but we have a good time anyway. Now, the reason I'm layering it like this is because I can get... Look at him go. I can get a lot of this stuff down to the same level before everything blows up. And that ends up being a lot better. So since we have access now, if I take my quadruple, I need one that is only a single. There we go. Yeah, the 5x is not going to let me do as much as I want to do, but I don't want to unlock that anyway. Let's do this. Yeah, let's keep getting distracted instead of doing, you know, like, basic fundamental tasks that have been lacking for a super long time. Let's just have fun blowing stuff up. Why not? Okay, that was the wrong... Alright, I think this is going to let me do almost all of it. Too bad I can't get anything else that way. But, we're going to see what they can get up to. We'll come back to that later, if I remember. This is working fine. Wow, water storage got full really quick. That tells me I should have been doing this a long time ago, which, you know, I am certain all of you will agree is something I should have been doing. Let's actually... No, that's not going to fit. Well, I thought this was going to work just a tiny bit better, so appreciate your understanding on that. I can just clone this. What am I doing? Okay. This going which way? We'll just do this. Then this is kind of a dead end. So why not hit that flip? And then we can do that. And then, you know, we have another 1,200 water storage, assuming they have the materials for it. Okay, see, this is going to be a very interesting thing for us to try and do without making mistakes. Because now if I take quadruples over here, we are going to be able to get some pretty gnarly stuff done. I think I've got enough dynamite for this. Maybe just barely. This one here. Okay, these are all ready to go. I'm going to K for Kaboom all of that. And as soon as this one's done, K for Kaboom. Oh, that didn't connect. Okay, that's fine. So now, as you can see, that is a single height. That's fine. K for Kaboom. It missed. Oh, that's L. That it is not L for Laboom. It is K for Kaboom. Alright, that can be quadruples again. And a single. And since this is already out, now I can recover the materials for this at a 25% tax for using them. And recover the materials for that. And then, as soon as they place the rest of this down, I'm pretty certain... Oh, I missed this one. That needs to be a double. How many more? I am out of dynamite. Okay, well, you know, I should have seen that coming. Oh, okay. They're still working on it. That's fine. Pumpkins, 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 pumpkins. Let's go. I think this was the full extent of the range. Oh, not quite. Alright, so we know that's... we know it's getting better. That's getting better. Our total water storage now is, come on, almost 4,000. So that's great to see. We got trees being cut down. I said I was going to improve this, and then I did not. And I added scrap metal harvesters without any storage for scrap metal because I didn't want to make big, ugly storage. So now who's the fool? Guess what? Scrap metal on the ground. Because I have industrial piles that I'm going to not individually set. I'm going to use the duplicate tool because I'm going to pretend I learned something over the past couple of years. This is going to need to get harvested before it's too late. No storage space available. Let's hit pause on that one just so they can get that back up. I mean, I have enough scrap metals on the ground. I don't really need to keep them. Look at them go. Look at them go. They're like tearing into this. Well, anyway, the real reason you use these industrial piles is because you can stack them. Even though they cost more money, and you have to figure out where you're going to put ladders and all that good stuff, it is still, in my opinion, a worthwhile way to do this. So, that goes there. That goes there, and that will give us a lot more. Come on, pick this one piece of rubble. Thank you. So that will, it'll give us enough extra to be worth the expense. I just need them to get this cleaned up so I can grow more trees. This is already a pretty good setup. Not a great setup, but a pretty good one. Oh, we got trees over here that I did not cut down. Well, friends, you know what time it is. It's time to cut down trees. Oh, you can get pine resin. No, it's fine. We're going to cut down the trees. We already have a ton of pine resin we're not using and not needing to harvest. So this will only help. And then, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of tempted to blow this out so I can get more rice or more water storage, pumping storage, whatever. We got pumpkin chips, and spicy sodas are now what's lagging. Let's check out the spicy soda recipe here. Wow, I randomly clicked on the right one. Ah, yes, bramble flowers, my arch nemesis, because we are not somehow able to harvest everything that we want to be harvesting. Okay, this lumberjack's barn is unable to get all of these because why? I think the addition of a ladder over here will be most helpful. Might give us a little bit more space to, come on. Oh yeah, look at that. These also, by the way, will not grow properly unless there is a drought and they are uncovered below 1 block of water. So it is possible these could keep spreading. I had started removing them because I thought I was going to blast everything down, but now there's no chance we're going to have enough dynamite to do that. So maybe what I should do instead is change my cut pattern to the sparse trees variety. Yeah, there we go. I love this. This is a mod. I forgot what it was called and who made it, but it's someone who watches these videos, and I'm very sorry that I don't remember this exact moment who it is. I talked about it in the earlier episode when I started using it, but this is probably going to be a much better way of doing this than just, leaving it up to chance. Alright, are they doing anything with this? Did we get these filled up? No, they're not filled up, but they are accessible, and I guess that's what matters. Water storage, still kind of a problem. I don't really have great access to much else over here. I want to keep these berries. Alright, I was kind of resisting building storages over here because I was kind of afraid that I'd need to expand everything, but, I always forget I can use the what do you call it? I at this point, I think it's just time to go ahead and pop some of these in. I am not dumb enough to get rid of these pines, because I know that's going to cause the brambles to absolutely go into super overload mode. We'll just keep on getting these guys out. That should be fine. Okay, coal, that's still making quartz. This is the coal one. No, wait, what? Oh, no, it's not still making quartz. It just has it in storage. That's what was going on. Okay, pumpkin time. Now it's actually super pumpkin time. What's he talking about? Shh, don't look at him. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna, for lack of a better thing to do here. Oh, I thought there was gonna be more. Alright, whatever. Loud sounds. Don't like that. Alright. More storage over here. Not going to be a bad thing. Are we going to have all the materials to build this? Probably not. Planks are looking a little low because logs are looking a little low. Because somebody still has not made any more tree farming despite constantly complaining about not having trees. Who are you? Oh, it's me! Okay. Zip line station. I don't care about you. I care about the forester. Okay. If I had... Oh! Alright. Problem solved. Maybe. Let me click on this again. Okay, the problem is not actually that solved. It is just slightly better. But if I did... you know what? I'm gonna do it. Come on. Come on, beavers. This is not gonna play nice unless I go here. Yeah, I'm just going to put another station here, and I know it's not a great spot for it, but it's going to expand the reach of the forester, and most importantly, going to allow me to get rid of this. Yeah, I can get rid of this pathway as soon as this is built. I just have to slightly change this routing, and I can't do that till this is built. Alright, so that needs logs, it needs ropes, it needs planks, which I kind of guess I don't have that many of, but I'm building a lot of stuff. And I'm also exploding a lot of stuff, because apparently that was a good idea. Okay. Even more kabooms. Earth-shattering, even. This is going to require a couple of smaller bridges. Unless... Oh, am I about to do something unimaginably stupid, and is this game going to let me do it? Okay. The overhang walkway, in all of its infinite glory, theoretically is a building upon which something else can be placed. No way! Oh, you shouldn't let me do this. You really should not let me do this. This is beyond dumb. What's a point load? I don't know. I'm a beaver. K for kaboom. Oh no. Oh, if you build this in real life, you will be dead. Fortunately, this is not real life, and we are not beavers. Alright, now we have to go even further beyond. we must. We absolutely must. Oh, is this where the party's over? Is this where the party's over? I think it is. Well, you know, I can't even be mad because the fact that it was even letting me do this in the first place was completely insane. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Well, you know, we learned something today, folks, and that is... Oh, I already forgot. Well, that's fine. Oh, we learned that this is completely irresponsible and I should never be allowed to do... Oh, I can't plant trees. Well, I can plant these. Let's just do that. Let's plant as many of these as we can. And then unplant the rest so that they will naturally go out. Yeah, that's going to be an improvement. It's going to be a big improvement. It's like another 20%. That is drought approaching. That is not nothing. Okay, this got harvested. I'm attempting to get these pulled back. I suppose it would not be a bad idea to just go ahead and blast this. They're not... Okay, when I blow this up, they're not going to be able to get past here. Well, having this blown up is going to protect this corner at least. Or maybe I actually do. Okay, well, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I just have to have this set off. Don't get blown up. There you go. Problem solved. Now they can't get over here. So, they can... Oh, they can still get over there. That's fine. I just want to make sure we can keep, you know, stuff growing. This is already filling back in, kind of. Or at least starting to show the pattern that I was trying to do. Did they build all these? Yes, they did. These are being cut down. This is fine. We have... See, look at us go! And some people say I don't listen to the comments. Alright, 5740 water storage. I think we ended last episode about 38 or 3900. I'm honestly just gonna keep on putting some of these in here. Because what else am I supposed to do but keep the numbers going up? I've been told that that is a very good and flawless strategy that will never ever cause any problems ever if the numbers just keep going up. Disconnect. And now this guy has complete coverage on the Lumberjack's barn, and the Forester also has complete coverage, which means I can put in other fun stuff here, including but not limited to doing shaving a haircut with the demolition tool, and then also just having more trees. Ever blossom time, except for where there's not space for the trees because of the zip lines. That's already marked for cutting? Someone was smart. Alright, That doesn't need to be on the other side of the river, but probably doesn't matter. I'm going to get rid of it anyway. What's this set to? 1.65. That's fine, because this is set to 1.9 something. Anyway, this is going to help us a lot. I should have done it a long time. Well-being high score of 36. I forgot to check on... Yeah, that's not bad. We got, you know, 75%, 74%-ish of the beavers on the upside-down statue. Most of them have sandals and satchels still. We need to be making more of those. But we've solved a decent amount of stuff. Oh, wow. It's already an hour and a half. Okay, back to making sandals. That's fine. Wait, they're using paper to make sandals? No. Okay, no, that's leftover from the balloons. Or is it leftover from the satchels? I was about to say, you can't make sandals with paper. Not good ones, at least. You make sandals with duct tape. That was a... Man. Was that like just like a my friend group thing? Or was that like a... I feel like it was a big trend about 20 years ago or so. It's like, yeah, I made sandals out of duct tape. It's like, what? Why? They're cheap. Just go buy normal sandals. Oh, well. I digress. They are putting in some pretty good work here, and I'm feeling pretty content with how this has gone. Caper kaboom! Look at that. Don't you love to see it? Oh. The forester is paused. That's supposed to be doing this, so how... Who's planning this? Is it this one? This one can reach. Why am I whispering? Is this a very... Okay. I had not even considered that other foresters could reach this. Alright. Oh, we're going to get so much done, folks. We're going to have such a great time. Well, we already are. No, that's not reachable. That's fine. This was a great idea, honestly. I don't know why I hadn't thought to do it. You know, we probably need it in this episode. It's already been almost an hour and a half. And with the drought coming up, it's probably not a bad time to do so. I just want to make sure there isn't anything else I've completely ignored, because I do always say in the comments, oh yeah, we'll do it next episode, and then I don't. And then I feel bad, because people are like, oh, you ignored my suggestion. Like, well, I wasn't trying to. It just happened. Okay, we put statues at the zipline stations. We put the irrigation fertilizer thing in with the lotuses. We looked at the balloon ziplines. It didn't seem to be a problem not having them prioritized. I can't click on that. Why? There we go. Yeah, see, it's fine. We blasted out spots near the chestnuts. We didn't put a scrapyard over here, but that's fine because we didn't need to. We made balloons in the seamstress. We made storage for scaffolding. And now I've got almost 300. We've got another farm thing for the sunflowers fixed up. Well, we just moved it, technically. You checked for the ladder path there. Moved some paths where there's zip lines. Put in a bunch more trees. We're working on getting this corner turned up. Unplanted the lotuses to try and see if they would spread, and they so far have not done that, but yeah, you know, I feel like this isn't going to work if they're also harvesting these. Yeah, that's the problem, is the mechanic that you're exploiting is dependent on another mechanic not happening that also... Anyway. Oh, I hate going back and forth on this, but I'm going to have to just... I'm just going to have to abandon this. Because they're harvesting. If it was mature and it stayed there for a long time, then yes, it would work, but there's no chance. There's no chance. Okay, now the time that I was going to use to end the episode has passed, and it's about to be dark, and we're about to have a drought again, and I've completely failed that. But I feel very happy with what we've managed to get accomplished today, even if it's not necessarily everything that I wanted to do. We have made some very good strides to fix a couple of annoying problems, and we are in the process of getting ever so closer to the fun stuff. Well, it's all fun stuff. But the advanced sawmill requires 2,000 science. We have 3,400 now because somebody couldn't stop playing with bombs. And yeah, we'll do that next episode. We could maybe, possibly, even do the high temperature foundry because we have everything to do both. So, appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the Beard Boosters supporting the channel and, you know, making it possible for me to do stuff like saying, you know what, my real life obligations are absolutely demanding my full attention for a couple of days, and I can't upload a video for right now. And that works out fine. And I appreciate you guys being understanding for stuff, and Just make it so I don't have to be quite so paranoid about the YouTube algorithm doing the Toy Story meme of the I don't want to play with you anymore thing. And the stability of the folks who, just want to keep things going really, really is appreciated. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back in this series on Friday and with the Iron Teeth tomorrow. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.